Hi everyone, Jackie Hay here of HeyHayCreations. Today I want to go over my Paint a Pumpkin kit, which will be new in my Etsy shop called HeyHayCreations. The pumpkin kit will be on sale for $35 plus free shipping. So here's the kit. Comes in this box with a little label of the pumpkin you're going to be painting, and you're actually going to get 2 pumpkins in the set. So first of all, you're going to get a sheet of paper. It's going to have your instructions. It will have a QR code to this video, which will show you step by step how I paint my pumpkins. You're going to get a little plate for your colors in case you want to mix your colors. You will get 3 paintbrushes of different sizes, larger, medium, and small. You will get a set of paints with the basic colors you will need. And if you want to add your own colors, that's perfectly fine too. The type of paints that I use are acrylic. This is the brand that will be in your set. This is Craftsman. You can pick this up at Michael's or Walmart. They sell these at most places, and this is an acrylic paint, which is fast drying. You will also receive 2 pumpkins, and these are resin pumpkins that come out of a silicone mold. The original pumpkin was a clay pumpkin that I sculpted. I always give out a little bag of goodies. I'm from Pennsylvania, so I like to put in some Hershey chocolate, a tea bag, maybe a mint, and then some little trinkets. And also my business card, which I sign, and just a little note that says thank you. You will also get a cloth, just like a little washcloth. And a cup, just to put your water in. So that is all the supplies you will get in your set. Now I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to paint a pumpkin together. So here we go. Okay, so let's begin. In your kit, you're going to get 2 of these pumpkins. Again, they're made out of resin, and I figure if you want to make one and a friend wants to make one, that's the reason why there's 2. But you're going to take your pumpkin, and what you want to do is add a brown stain all over it. And what this does is it really shows all the detail that's in the sculpt is going to come out. And let me just show you that real quick. So take your paints and either a medium or a large brush, and just dip your brush in some water. Add a little brown paint, and then you just want to paint it all over. And if you end up adding too much brown paint, all you have to do is dip your brush in some water and just kind of spread it around and thin it out that way. I even paint the bottom of my pumpkin. And just a quick disclaimer while I'm doing this. You absolutely do not have to paint your pumpkin the way that I do. I just figured I'd show you, and then go ahead, pick the colors that you want. If you want a blue pumpkin or a pink pumpkin, that's entirely up to you. So once you get that brown paint all over, I just take my towel and kind of dab it up a little bit until I get something that looks like this. So I'll go in with a little bit more brown paint until it starts looking, again, like this pumpkin here, filling in all those little cracks and crevices. Okay, so that would be step 1. After you let the brown paint dry, again, that won't take very long because this is acrylic paint. You want to move on to the next step. And the next step is going to be adding some of the shadows and your first layer of orange paint. So what I'm going to do is take my small brush, and it's up to you if you want black or brown. I like to do a mixture of both. And all of these deep cut areas inside the mouth, the nose, I'm going to paint my eyes black as well. You just want to go in and fill in those dark shadowy areas with your black paint. If you prefer brown, you can certainly use brown. A lot of times when I'm painting, I don't really even use black, I just use the brown. But for this pumpkin, I'm gonna do a mixture of black and brown. Again, I'm dipping my paintbrush in the water just so the paint's not too thick as I'm working. And you can experiment with that and decide what thickness of paint you like to work with. I like to kind of work not too thick, not too thin, just kind of in the middle. For the eyes though, I am gonna take quite a thick glob of paint and spread that around because I do want it to be pretty dark, just like that. Okay, I'm also going to go in. I'm going to clean my brush off, just dip it in the water, wipe it on your washcloth. I'm going to paint this stem here. Oh, excuse the shaking. And I'm also going to go in those deep cracks. So in here, just adding some brown or some black. And that's going to give your pumpkin a lot of depth. Okay. In here, try to fill in all those little areas. And if you make a mistake somewhere, like my mouth got a little sloppy as I was working, just take your towel and kind of wipe it. The nice thing about paint is it's very forgiving. If you make a mistake, you can wipe it off and just add a new layer. Okay, I'm gonna take my medium brush, a little bit of the orange, and I'm going to just cover the whole thing. And again, you do want to wait till your black paint is pretty dry. That way it doesn't bleed together. If both of the paints are wet, the black is going to run into the other color, and you probably don't want that. So in the end, you're going to get something that looks like this. So I have the shadows painted. Oh, the stem's not painted. And I've added my orange paint, or at least my first layer of orange paint. So from here, I'm going to be adding the highlights, which this is my favorite part. So the highlights, meaning the yellows and the whites, I'm going to keep my medium brush, but feel free to use your smaller brush if you like. I'm going to clean it off a little bit. And I'm going to add some whites in the higher, like think of mountains with peaks, like the raised places. So around the eyes and the cheekbones where it's raised up, the ridge of the nose. And you can add white, you could add yellow or a mixture of both. Feel free to use your plastic plate to mix colors if you want something special. But I like the yellow because it kind of gives it a glowing effect. And you can make the eyes look like they're glowing if you would like. Instead of black, maybe do some yellow or some oranges, make them look like flames. Okay, again, think of peaks of a mountain. So right here where it's raised up, I'm going to add some of this white, and then all the top of these little bumps here, I'm going to add some white, and then his brow, around his mouth here. These are all places I would add a lighter color. And if there's too much paint like there is right here, you can either spread it around with your brush, or you can, again, take your washcloth and just dab that up a little bit so there's not so much. So yellows and whites around the mouth, just like that. And if it's looking a little too harsh, like maybe this is looking kind of like, I don't know, he ate something yellow or he's got some yellow lipstick. Again, just blend it into the orange, bring that color down, wipe it off a little bit. There we go. So that would be an example of our highlights. And the next thing I'm gonna do is just take a very watery orange and I'm gonna kind of glaze the pumpkin. So again, oops. Once your highlight layer is pretty dry, you're going to take a very watered down large brush, a little bit of that orange color and quite a bit of water, and you want to do this over a paper towel or something that you can get messy, and you're going to kind of glaze another layer of orange over top of all those colors, just like that. And again, this is pretty watery. Oh, let me make sure I'm in frame here. So a little orange glaze. Get the bottom too if you like. And I accidentally got some on the eye, so I'm just gonna dab that up or clean that up with my brush. Okay. And for the eyes, it's really up to you. You can get pretty creative. What I opted to do for the last step, which is finishing details, this is where you can go in and just punch up your colors if you want, add a little bit more yellow or white, or maybe a more intense orange, anywhere you think you need it. But I just did some little black and white eyes, just a little bit of white on the corners and some highlights to get your pumpkin all finished. I also added some little brown dots, gave it some freckling. So there you have it. This is the finished pumpkin. And these are really cute. You could put them on display. If you are a doll collector, you could put them with your dolls. Yeah, so again, if you have any questions, please feel free to message me or email me. I'll have all that information in your little goodie bag. But yeah, thank you so much for following along. I hope you and maybe a friend enjoy painting your little pumpkins, and thank you so much. Okay, bye.